jails repair and maintenance now, this new budget year will go over to June more, correct?
Right.
Okay. Just wanted to verify, I'm sorry.
Well, it's just easier that way. It's
Yeah,
less
I agree.
lines and things that we're trying to keep up with. So the bottom line is 8 doors have not been done. And 8 are on board.
They've been ordered, but we don't have them.
And then
We were walking to get the remainder 8 and next year.
but 8, 16 completes.
Yes.
That's correct.
That's correct. So, the way you explain to me on those. The doors themselves, is the price still the same on them? Are they still honoring the same price on the contract, or?
We'd have to check into that, Judge. I haven't gotten, I know that this year, I just did the ones that we did for the last budget. I think it's what are the ones that we.
They don't do a present and future value of money on these things.
Right.
Here. Did they not give any in the contract? I didn't go back and look at it. Did they not give any deadlines or any deadlines established how long the contract is due for or what their performance is? We talked to the lieutenant.
I guess most of they did get.
There's no time frame, there's no obligation, there's no, are they the only guys in the world to do this?
Yes, there's companies out of Minnesota and Mexico that really don't.
Where they got that?
They were, Howard, yeah.
So you wait a year and they give you a 30-day warranty.
And then they-
Getting those people.
But we have to buy from these people. Because they're the only ones that make them.
I believe so.
And
They got a monopoly on
we have to have them approved by the State Jail Standards Commission. And the Jail Standards Commission only approves this company.
I assume so, I don't know. Lieutenant,
I think the issue is there's only one company in this area. The rest are like in Minnesota or.
Now, where'd you say these guys are from? Oh,
we get other companies, but it's gonna be double, triple the price and what the quality is.
Do we know that? I mean, have we bid this?
I have not because we didn't
Sure.
go out for seal bids because of the price not being over 50,000.
Well, I don't know, the price could be $10, but if you can't get it, it's not going to do anybody any good.
that's true.
I don't believe that, if I'm not mistaken, that was usually the existing lot. We're going to have to.
New locks, yeah, the locks have already come in.
Yeah, we've got the locks, we've got the locks, we just don't have the doors.
Did they do the locks too?
For the one
Hey, give these guys a call.
That's how we got the September date. We've been emailing back and forth on it.
Well, this has a lot of concerns to it. I mean, I've had dealings with companies that did things like this that didn't turn out very good in the end. I think it might behoove us. Here's what I'm thinking is to allocate funds, because it's 16 doors total. We need to go out and bid. We need to find out what the real truth. I mean, you know this for a fact that the prices are 2-3 times higher than these guys, or is that an assumption that we're operating?
I didn't get bids from other companies, but they were about.
How many more we gonna need?
Hey,
No, I mean, overall.
16.
Overall, with 16, we've already got 8.
I know that, but in the future, we're gonna need more doors? More than the 16?
Oh, it's gonna come eventually, yes, those doors are wearing out. It's gonna happen.
I thought the only, correct me if I'm wrong, these doors was being replaced before we could put food openings. Am I correct?
Yes.
That's the only reason on these 16 doors.
On these 16 doors, yes, sir, but to answer his question, the other doors in the facility are wearing out and are eventually gonna have to be replaced. at some
Are they,
point.
are pretty hard, well, this is obviously.
But here's what I'd like to do. If this is a, I think, Lieutenant Avery, they saw it run down last year, we purchased some 3 lines where we had to, is to, include these funds for the whole 16. And let's get out there and look and see who does this, get some bids. And we'll have the funding, in the maintenance, the repair and maintenance line item for CKC over there. And we get these bids and possibly find somebody to work with whoever, you know, what the specs and all that stuff is. There's gotta be somebody else out there that knows how to do this and do it in a timely manner. And possibly what'll happen is if we get this and we go to terminate this contract and we're lacking non-performance, then it may put a fire in them, you know, to do something. But still, I'm not disparaging their company or anything, but it raises a little red flags, things like this going on. That was confusing. It's like, man, we did this last year, they ought to be in here already. So we'll go back, does that sound like a suitable plan? Sounds good. Okay, so we'll need to go back and we'll make the adjustment in the maintenance fund to allocate those dollars.
I have one more question, Mr. Sheriff. Are these doors, are they pretty much standard? I mean, like, the ones that are gonna wear out in the future, are they pretty much the same as the ones we're replacing now?
Similar, not the same. The one we're replacing now have a mesh wiring in it. The doors that Lieutenant Strauss talking about, is safety glass, they would be more expensive.
they're more solid at the bottom.
What was that?
They're solid steel at the bottom, where these that we're replacing now has the mesh, the metal mesh,
Okay.
because they're actually inside those.
They're like expanded metal or something?
Yeah.
So,
I'd like to get the specifications and reference what's required, as far as, Fred, find out, I tell you what, and I know this was before nowadays, but, we had certified welders here. Ronald Foster and all them, but they had the specs, I don't see how they can, I would actually, well,
the only thing that I'm thinking about that is there's probably a pretty good liability involved with banking and jail. I don't think we'd have to have a pretty good problem. Probably somebody would bill on somebody. Try and break it out.
Well, we do this bid, we check body insurance, all those kind of things.
Can I look into it?
Sorry.
Can I look into it? Sure. I know.
I brought this up, looks like the last time we used them was in 2013, where we had $12,240 jail steel doors work done. Same company, Integrity Steelworks in Calcutta. So that was the last time that they did any work on the steel doors. But then you're about to use them now coming up. Somehow, I guess I thought that there was something that was done last fiscal year.
These doors also that you're looking at, was there something about
They replaced all the intake doors.
This one?
Yes.
That expense?
That was for all the beam chutes and the intake doors. The holding area.
tell me again from my lizard brain, what is the purpose of placement of these doors. They the ones that had to have the new food slots in there and all that.
For the safety and the security of the officers mainly, but I mean, if you open both of those doors to feed those guys, you have the chance of both of them coming out at the same time and getting in a fight, which we have had happen.
Mhm.
And in fact, I'm being sued over that right now. But with a food slot there, the officer can walk in there and just open the food slot, slide the tray in, and get the tray back. And so it's a whole lot safer for everybody involved.
And when you're dealing with handcuffing them and violent and uncooperative,
Take it back up, keep your hands to the back.
we're not having to open that door. They can place their hands out, keep handcuffed and things like that.
A lot of the inmates that we have housed in those cells are mentals or they're a discipline problem or something like that. They're not just our normal everyday Joe Schmo that comes in off the street for DWI. They've got some issues.
Thanks. All right, I think we're ready to move on.
Okay. Also, in the jail, I want to look at 3410, 193410. We requested a little over $59,000 and we received $20,000. I'm not sure what was cut.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to, this is fairly simple, Commissioner, because it happens on both sides of the spectrum. Every year, we kind of discussed this a little bit last year, before. Every year, a lot of work is put into the book, stating what specifically needs to be purchased, what needs to be bought, and then the budget's approved based on what your assessment or whoever submits that. And then consequently, when we go back through the year of purchases of this year based on last year's submission of budget, there's no consistency at all between what was requested and what actually is purchased. So I wonder what the whole efficiency of putting that book together is versus arriving at a number. Because if it's going to be something that we're just throwing things out there and buying something different next year that we've seen, we've got all the reports on that, then maybe the discussion and everything that was purchased, has been purchased down there that was done is marked. If it wasn't on the list last year, I mean, you're more than welcome to look at it.
Okay.
And Cheryl can do a printout or anything else, but we have, the same, and it's the same thing on both sides.
Okay.
So, what is a fair and true and accurate amount that doesn't, entice that.
So what, I guess what I'm asking is, and I think you're right, the dollar amount probably be much easier to go with, because I don't know what was cut, from 59 to 20.
I don't think I isolated anything.
Okay.
I simply want to have the discussion and and have it brought out and brought to your attention, on both sides of that, because we did discuss it last year
Right, we did.
as well, and it seemed like we turned right around and the same thing happened this year. So, my question, I have a question to, for you and your staff is, what are the true needs? Assess the true needs and then submit the true needs. And I know things change and they happen, but we need, I think it needs to be accounted for.
Sure, I understand.
So, just in fairness to the budget system.
I understand.
I did make some comparisons in reference to that, and I was looking at the format. I couldn't find anything, but I was actually looking to see what was received last year and asked for, and then what was asked for.
Can you speak into the
Oh,
microphone?
Can you hear me better out there now? I was looking at some of the stuff right here on the quartermaster, for instance. I know that they were running out of pants and stuff like that as far as 80 versus 80 from this year. Inner belt 60 versus 60. Duty belt 60 versus 60. Handcuffs, I think it continued 40. The glove pouches 60 versus 40 this year. Heavy coats, last year 60, 40 this year, and stuff like this. As far as the breakdown on the other, like I said, I noticed, a lot of times, and I believe that's what the judge is referring to, that some of them are just over again. I don't believe there was any handcuffs this time, but I think that's what he's looking at. In fact, I went back 2 or 3 years to see how many handcuffs we've been getting and all this.
They do.
Am I correct? So that's,
I got it, Commissioner.
okay.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I'm looking at the expendable equipment you're requesting, and I mean, like the SCBA that you have listed on there, that's because they expire this year.
That's
Correct? So, I mean, good reason to get new ones if they're
Right.
won't
Yes.
serve again.
Okay.
So, stuff like that, that's, on the wheelchair conversion for the Dodge minivan, is that for a new minivan?
We
or
looked at
just to
prices on,
replace one that you already have?
we looked at prices on both of them. To have one converted, we were gonna have to send one of our vans off, like away out of state. There was no place local that we could find that would do it, and it would be gone for a couple of months. And, I didn't know how much the shipping and stuff was gonna be on that. We also looked at a new one too. So either way, but here in the past, we didn't have a lot of people in wheelchairs, but it seems lately we've had 3 or 4 at a time. And getting them back and forth to court, we've got one guy that comes in very regular, and he's very, very happy. And it's very hard for the transport officers to get him back and forth to court. In fact, one day they asked if they could just push him over there. And so we are in desperate need. They're going
See
to,
that in the face.
they're going to doctor's appointments, they're going to court and stuff, and it is something that we could use. Whether we go with an old,
So it's not something you're replacing right now, it's gonna be
No.
something new?
no, yeah.
Okay.
But I will tell you, Commissioner, Tammy and I checked in, on the vans that they have to put the handicap lift on them. They would not allow us to do it on a van 5 years or older or 50,000 miles
Yes, that's
or above. Well, these are transport vans, so most all their vans
Mhm.
are over 50,000. So that's when we got the quote for it, just a new, that was already done.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
And then on these tanks, you got half of them this year, half of them next year,
Yes,
to expire.
They expire within 2 years, I believe. We've got 2 years left on them.
Yeah, I know we used to run into the same thing, and it would be like, you'd be replacing your whole thing, instead of having it spaced out over
Staggered.
3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
which makes a lot more sense.
Yes,
A lot easier to budget for and absorb and everything.
correct.
Well, and I know that's likely to say too, but with the dollar amounts, you should have a printout. This is something that Jimmy produces. Just to go over the accounts in there right now, in jail commissaries, $476,643.56. The inmate trust account, $83,453. Inmate holiday limit. Federal forfeiture account, $302,095. Evidence, $24,821. And the crime control state for $42,476.44. Are some of these things that are included in here seem like under the, I think you provided me a copy of the, the requirements for certain purchases to be made under some of those accounts. Do items like that not qualify to be purchased under those?
I think they do. You're suggesting we pay those out of commissary?
I'm asking if they qualify.
I believe they do.
They do.
So we need to take that out of commissary?
I don't know.
We need to take that out of commissary to purchase it?
It would seem to me that be the relief to the general fund, it could be done. And that goes back to, if there's items like that that qualify, and then we look at the need items that are in here that don't, that's where it gets into that.
And we've done that in the past, like, our vans, we've purchased several vans out of commissary.
That's
We just gotta make sure it fits the criteria.
that's pretty
Yeah.
healthy staff.
It is.
Nothing wrong with it.
I know, I'm proud of that. Okay, any other questions on the jail part?
So given that discussion, what, with that would the, I mean, and even just looking historically, I kind of put this in the same light as with some of the commissioners in the precincts, yes, and just doing the war equipment, but you don't ever know what's going to come. And so I think the question is, you know, and let's discuss what would be an amount that is amenable to the operation here that would allow the flexibility in the purchasing of items that qualify for expendable equipment. Is that a $10,000 figure, a $15,000 figure, a $20,000?
More than the 20, is that what you're saying?
I started at 10.
I'll start at 20.
I know you learned that.
Well, the breathing apparatus is gonna be 28, just in itself. And then the radios is another 42.
They had radios in last year. No radio.
Yes, so we did.
No.
I can touch on that. The radios are for the officers' use on the floor. They do get worn out. It's not that they're losing them or abusing them, but they do get worn out where they won't hold the charge. We replace the batteries or replace the antennas as much as we can to try to keep them in service, but they finally just wear out where we have to replace the whole radio. So it's not that all the officers are getting new radios, it's just that we're trying to replace some that aren't working anymore.
Can you figure out everything in there about the everything, dollars?
45.
But, 20 radios last year, 20 study antennas, 10 antennas, 10 batteries. And then you got 20 more on there, that's a total of 40 radios.
44,530.
44, 5, 33.
Yes. Now, Judge, on some of his lists of stuff, he's asked for a copier. And, you know, in budget hearing yesterday and in Commissioner's Court today, you discussed about leasing copiers.
Yeah, we're doing a whole, we're researching that right now.
Okay.
So that the, you know,
Just leasing,
okay, because
might be more economical.
for a lot of people, yeah, we'll get the numbers back on it. But,
Okay.
you know, you're starting to get up there and spending $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 with a copy machine, and 2 years later, they're obsolete, no parts, and all that kind of stuff.
So this one's 53.
So if you take off the copier and the minivan, that would leave that at 39,175.
40.
And the SCV.
It's your suggestion, we can pay out, we can do the minivan out of commissary.
So to move this along, I guess.
That's fine.
With you taking those items that qualify for, for commissary purchases, would $20,000 just in an expendable equipment jail fund accommodate what potential needs the jail might have in the future year without being obligated to this list that's been presented every year that doesn't apply? It would appear that it would.
Take the minivan out in the SCBA's.
Okay.
That same, we're gonna have the same conversation along the correction,
But it looks like we're gonna go to the recent on the copier.
Yeah.
Okay.
well, we're gonna shoot for it, and if it doesn't help, it proves to not be. How many copies do I have over there? 5?
Include.
Five in the jail, and we've got 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, you have questions on the jail part? Ready to go the SO side? All right. 2232. We requested 120,000, received 75.
Are you looking, take about 5 minutes?
I'm sure, sounds good to me.
That's a lot of water.
It's mostly online. We actually have, this is our YouTube stream right here. We're actually recording not only this, but we're recording the Greenville ISD working. We're also recording the city council meetings. So tonight we're actually recording the city council meetings next Tuesday. Okay. Next Tuesday, we're streaming the board meeting for the civic plan for the school board.
Okay, so is that like a contractual thing you're doing with them, or is it just a service?
Yeah, so far as the service, we're looking for sponsorships. So people that are interested in watching these live, they'll want to sponsor us, and then we'll just have their logo down there, brought to you by whoever. In fact, the school board is going to, they're in talks with us about sponsoring it themselves. So it'd be the school board meeting brought to you by Greenville IT.
And it would be continuously
In that
on there every month.
Absolutely. And so instead of them having to go, I think for the open meetings, whatever, they have to go and search for the recordings and then submit that to whoever. They could just give them YouTube link to our website. So.
I know when we were talking about it was line up on YouTube and my for grandparents in Georgia got all that. So
I did the same thing for his wedding.
oh, really?
And so,
how hard is it to link that up?
it's very long. I mean, for instance, we've got, if you want to say hi, there's 3 people watching right now, and then all I have to do is, or if you end up coming to our site or hit share, and then it'll go to your Facebook page.
So it's Clark County
On YouTube.
I might look at some of those.
So we just started, this is our first time doing this. I'd like to promote it. In fact, the ones at the school board, if they continuously support it like that, they're going to start requiring some of their students to watch those videos and submit reports on some of those things too.
So that's pretty neat. That's just good.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay.
No, you want?
No.
You have a work around it?
You're the primary focus.
Yeah. Let's get my skinny side of it. Not for sure where the skinny side is anymore.
Keep looking.
I say you're supposed to drink like 2 gallons a day or something like that.
Oh, no, that's a lot. It's 8 ounce glasses.
It's, if you're working out, it's like 2 gallons.
Oh, yeah.
Britt carries around a gallon of water. So,
And his workout's dragging the bathroom.
That's distilled water. Somebody said distilled water.
It's got to be better than that water, but what it is. Okay, we ready to go back? Okay, moving over, and you wanted to go to,
Judge, if I need to address a couple of things on the jail, if I keep before the next one, one second, a second. Commissioner, I think we need to explain to you, on any given shift in the jail, we usually have 10 people on each floor, on each shift. So we have 10 in transport, 6 in medical, probably 3 or 4 in intake. So we said we've got 80 people working in the jail. I want you to know that there's probably around 10 working the floor on each shift. So maybe that clear things up. Judge, I understand your deal about the duplicating things. I'm a little leery about, and I love Jimmy Moore to death, but on the part about that big coming out of Jimmy Moore's, our repairs. So everything's got to be cleared by him, paint, lawnmower repairs, all of that.
it's a real simple process. We've had to do a lot of cleaning on this. It's not going to be it's not gonna impede maintenance on that facility. Matter of fact, he needs to be aware of maintenance needs on the facility.
Okay,
And I came over there the other day and addressed certain issues on maintenance
okay,
in that facility.
okay.
I don't want, I've already had discussions with the maintenance folks that are taking care of the facility, and I think it's reinforcement for everybody. I mean, everybody, you don't know, this thing's a floating boat. I mean, it's a floating battleship, and it requires maintenance 24/7 to keep it going.
Yes.
And, I saw some things that I wasn't pleased with, and I need to be aware of it, so I can be sure that I get to the right people to get those things done. So it's important to everybody on this board as it is to you to keep that thing going the best we can. I agree with what we both got handed something there. We just got to make it right.
I just want to keep up our reputation with Fred. We got a really good report this time. I want to make sure we get that.
Any way, shape, or form, if that process begins to impede anything that I need to know.
Okay, all right. Good enough.
Please.
Okay. Sheriff's Office, 2232. Law enforcement vehicle maintenance and repair, we asked for 120, received 75. And year to date, and Jimmy, you might help me out too, might have an insurance payment or something, but year to date, our actual is 79,000, as of May the 19th.
Well, Sheriff, most current numbers up here now,
Okay,
and it goes back to, and I had this discussion with Commissioner's Court. The 75,000, that's what you're asking for, you asked for in this budget we're in,
right,
for maintenance of your vehicles.
correct,
And then as vehicles are in accidents
right.
and the insurance proceeds come in, we book that as a revenue.
And that goes in this line item?
No, it goes in a revenue line item, but because now we've got an unanticipated revenue, we also need the expenditure, so that's why that expenditure line item then went from 75,000 up to 121,543 via budget amendments, if that makes sense. See, like right here, you can see the original budget was 75,000. Then you can see budget amendments that happened in December, in February, March, and then a couple of big ones here in May. And those were vehicles that had been wrecked and the insurance paid off.
Right.
And so revenue went up, expenditures went up by the same amount.
I just want to make sure we have enough money to.
All it did was replace basically what they paid you.
Right.
And shown and that was, I mean, that's all it happened.
Okay.
You still have the same thing, it's just, when that money came in, they had to show the spending of it.
Okay, I just want to make sure we have enough to cover.
Well, and there's some other factors that fall into play because, naturally when I see these things, when we started talking about acquisition of vehicles and new vehicles, the natural assumption is that your repair and maintenance, costs go down. Yeah, but sure, I gotta be honest with you, the people some of the folks that we contract with do the maintenance, on the vehicles have expressed concern with regards to the fact that, certain things are not being done in a timely manner. I'll use tires, for example. It's important on these vehicles, as you well know, that, tires have to be rotated on a regular basis, especially, with the amount of wear. Numerous instances, probably just too many to go looking, but that has not been done. It's supposed to have tire rotations and maintenance. A whole new set of tires has to be purchased. Okay. And you're talking about a fleet. You know how many vehicles you have?
I've got a list of them here. Several.
Can I say something? 79.
I don't have.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
A couple of years ago, Chief Oxford and I made an agreement, and we said we would love to list of the condition of the vehicles, and see how many actually were in detrimental shape and needed repair. I got this list Monday afternoon, which really is not enough time for the commissioner's court to sit down and think about how we're going to do this. Now, what I would ask, and don't throw that bottle of water.
I hear the judge.
What I would think that you might think about doing is getting a person, whether it's somebody here or whether you hire somebody in, whatever. What was that, what'd you call that guy, Eric?
Fleet maintenance advisor.
Of what?
A fleet maintenance advisor.
Fleet maintenance advisor. And that person would have the responsibility of keeping up with all the maintenance on those, where they have the tire filter, when they have the oil change in the vehicle. And we could see then, especially if it was on a computer screen, we could see if this old Charger right here, we spent $5,000 last year on a motor overhaul. And we should have just crossed some of that thing.
Right.
Would that be something you might want to consider?
Sure. I sure would.
Sheriff, how do you guys do it now? Is the officer that drives the vehicle responsible for making sure that the maintenance?
I'm gonna let Lieutenant Smith answer that.
The deputy that the vehicle's assigned to, they're in charge of the oil changes,
Okay.
tire rotations, getting new tires, the overall maintenance. Now Lieutenant Gear is in charge of keeping track of that, on what's going on with the vehicle. Of course, Lieutenant Gear isn't here, so he can't speak for himself, but I know he does keep an update and upkeep on what is happening with the vehicles.
Okay.
Sometimes there is slack on the deputy's part on not getting some of those things done on time, but for the most part, I believe it is getting done.
Okay. Well, see, that's just a training issue, really, for the deputy as far as this is your responsibility if you've got this vehicle, just for maintenance. And I get that. That's not a big deal to me. It's just, you do want to make your stuff go as far as you can go. And you
Yeah,
guys,
if he has a trouble with a deputy that has, one of mine anyway, I'm in charge of patrol. If he has a problem with one of those deputies not getting something done, he comes to me and I address it with him and the sergeant. So it does get done because,
Okay.
right, when we're down a vehicle, that is an issue.
Mhm.
Because now we have to use another vehicle, wear, tear, and all that good stuff right now.
How often do you do line inspections?
Say again,
How often do you do line inspections on it?
they do an inspection every pay period. They do an inspection around the vehicle and it's supposed to be gone over with their sergeant.
Sure.
Yes.
Do they have a car book? With DPS, we have to fill out one completely every month, from day to day.
Car book.
Yeah. So you,
Yeah.
okay, you say we check everything, you have, know what that deputy puts in, what he does, and all this bit, and you know what a car book is? It's a ledger from day to day.
They do the vehicle inspection sheet, those are turned into Lieutenant Gear, so keep track of all that.
Y'all are already doing this.
Say again?
Y'all are already doing this.
Yes, sir.
You know, fund that position.
I was gonna tell you that, Lieutenant Gear is in charge of that. He's not here today,
Well,
but I will speak to him about it.
and, if you're already doing it, that's fine, we don't need to do it then again. But it would be nice if you would be the one who would fill out this report, or give me this report. If it's just once every 6 months, that way we can kind of figure ourselves how much money how many cars we have. Right. Right now, we don't have to.
Can we move on to that?
Yeah.
What's that? That's 4,200 and I guess what you're talking, the reason why that it was zeroed out, I think we were asking for 5 new Tahoes for 173.5, which refers back to 3410, which I figure has to do with outfitting those 5 Tahoes that was subtracted. Because we asked for 152.7, received 40, 684. And I apologize for the information I get to you any sooner, Mr. Allen, for that gets to you quickly.
Thank you.
But you do have a copy of that, correct? Okay.
Got it.
So we do need the 5 new Tahoes. And with the outfit.
Then we, we're gonna get rid of some of them.
Yes, sir. I believe they're marked on that sheet,
Yeah, they are.
the ones that we're going to get rid of.
Uh, Do you kind of have a mileage, well, there's one, 220,000 miles. That's
So 20,000, I think,
That's
at least.
You got a good action out of that car.
Yes.
And so you have 5 vehicles you're gonna sell off.
Yes, sir.
And one of them is a Brown Big,
Brown big.
the rest are Tahoe.
Yes, sir. I know we still have Brown.
There's a lot you have in this one.
And
There's a lot you have in this one.
what,
There's 25, to be exact.
Yeah, there's 25 that are insured that aren't showing on the list that you have. We just need to kind of get that reconciled.
okay.
That's a total of 72. Total 72.
79, I believe is
79.
what they got, and it was 24 that weren't listed on this one. And of course, the Durango, they had that listed, I had insurance that I did insert this morning. And it's on
Okay.
there, it's back there, and you see.
Is that 79 total, including the jail vehicles also?
What I'm looking at here is that just guessing that about 210, or 2010 is probably the oldest car that you guys still in patrol. It's got,
Yes, sir.
it's a lot of miles car.
We got just one of them, looks like.
Yeah, it's just,
But no, we got, yeah, there's in the trial, that's correct.
but it's only got 138,000.
138.9. The rest of them are 2011 and up. I guess what we're asking is for the 5 new Tahoes outfitted, and we're going to auction off these 5 that are listed on
And when we sell those, we sell them with the equipment, with them.
No.
No, we
Or
own.
the equipment. Does it go on the new ones or?
What's it going to do? Take a,
Legislature passed this year that, January, that we cannot sell any vehicles in auction that have any equipment on them at all.
Okay.
Any emblems,
What happens to our,
spotlights,
what happens to our equipment?
those we can auction off, or the past we've donated a few since I've been here. We did donate a few to
another agent.
another agency.
The majority, this last year was, I know the, cities,
Right.
local cities, I'm talking about in Hunt County. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Hot Cove just got 2 of them, am I
Yes,
correct?
that's right.
Lone Oak has, got several west of Walkeny,
I think Constable's got a couple
yeah,
of them.
and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, up in, Sweden.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
But, anyway, those, were in actuality donated out of this, they were not sold.
Correct, and we can leave the equipment as long as it goes to another agency.
Law enforcement.
Law enforcement agency. And when we got the approval for Commissioners Court, that equipment was listed as well.
And I want to tell you something, I want to thank you and, the chief deputy in reference to turning that around because it has helped Hunt County.
I think we just donated one to the tax office.
We did.
Yes, that's right.
Does it,
That's all.
does it look like that the Tahoes for the coming year would be about the same price as the ones that were purchased this year?
I believe, I don't have that in front of me. I know I did submit a quote to them,
160,000
and that was just for the Tahoe. That
That's
was
just the
including the outfit, I believe.
for 5.
Well, yeah, I mean, there they are, what's been purchased this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
How much is
and that's $163,930. And of course, and the other thing is, you know, in the original budget, it was budgeted for $250,000.
Yes.
And then it's been moved around, budget adjustments. These two, from what I saw a minute ago, were moved over to expendable equipment.
And I can answer that a little bit. The upfitting for the Tahoes in last year's budget got put to 4,200 instead of 3,410 expendable, which he does have it broke out separately this year, so
Right.
that's why that happened.
So I guess the main thing, should you guys come to an agreement about the Tahoes, there's gonna be 5 of them, and it really needs to be closer to, you know, the 163,930 amount, if you think that's what they're gonna go for. I mean, it's just that fewer line item transfers that have to be done. Cheryl and I have to get together, well, you know, there's not enough budgetary authority there. So then we have to come to Commissioners Court, get the line item budget transfer approved, before she can run with it.
Yeah, the Tahoes, like Dan was stating, I think last year, all of it got put to 4,200, instead of split out because the outfitting does go to expendable equipment.
Right.
Who did we get those from?
I believe I got them from Launch Guard, and then I did a lot with your state, and then the Tahoe, Caldwell Chevrolet.
Reliable.
Yeah, that's who we got from.
These all through the Bible.
Yes, sir. Reliable actually was through the state last year. And then my board was really comfortable with the state's price this year on their new contract, so we did with my board, we get a rebate from the my board at the end of the year.
Randy, I know that it's been, you know, we discussed this last year, and there's different philosophies about it, but just talking about it from the voluntary side, at what point does the size of the fleet necessitate reevaluating and taking up our program? Because at some point in time, you know, the lines cross, so we're looking down the barrel every year going back to 2000, I guess, 12, when did we start talking about it? Probably about 12.
11 or 12.
Yeah, so we consistently done that to the tune of 100, you know, it's just rounded up. Well, I mean, total package, if you take outfitting and everything, looking at about 250 grand a year, you know, every year. The other needs within the department, sometimes I wonder, you know, I've heard both sides of the argument, sitting in the advisory committee and everything else. There's those that, you know, donate. I understand from a deputy standpoint what a benefit, you know, that is. It's convenience, you know, more than anything. And but as far as true, anything that proves you know, with true deterrent. I don't know that I've ever seen anything that actually prove that. I know there's a lot of, you know, a lot of smaller agencies as we once, you know, were, fleet. But when we get up to a fleet of, I don't know, out of those 79 cars, how many are the patrol vehicles and topics? Well, you've got 48 sworn, those. You got how many on patrol?
25 total.
I think 25 on patrol.
Yes, sir.
So, sit down and wonder sometimes from a fiscal standpoint, a need standpoint, when the program,
So we can look at that.
because, you know, naturally, you go up to 12,
Say again?
you work 12 hours.
Yes, sir.
12 hours, yes. So, working a 12-hour shift, if I recall, I did it a few times, there's, you know, a couple of days during the week in between those shifts that cars just sit, not used. And, you know, from a maintenance standpoint, that keep a longevity, being able to utilize the cars, being able to rotate, new, old, and rotate those out. And significantly reduce the size of the fleet and increase the ability to move and rent. And, you know, it's certainly, like I said, the vehicle discussion on come up. That's why that was left blank there go, because, you know, these guys pull the trigger on how many ever, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, or 5, or how many of you guys decide to go. But I think it deserves, you know, some serious consideration just to put longevity and being able to reallocate some of these funds in other areas as opposed to costing $250,000 chucker every time we turn around. Out of those cars, if this is for any of the cars that are being done away with, are they going to be able to outfit these potential new cars that come in, or what?
Outfit for you?
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
That
with
goes back to
the funding, with the budget money that was put in here, the request that was made for the outfitting of the vehicles,
that was in 30.
did that include any of this switch over equipment? Or was that just
That's all
outfitting?
Judge, if you asking if the equipment on the old cars would go onto the new cars? Is that what you were asking?
Right. Yeah.
Jacob?
I'm not sure. That's Lieutenant Gears. Maybe. I know it's a different package. The vehicles are a totally different package than what we were running. So to get rid of 11 or 12, obviously in the 16s they came out with a new body style. But as far as the light bars, things like that, they might be able to use those still. I know some of the ones that they want to get rid of are the old camera system, and we're all going all watch guard. So you're looking at camera costs there also, but I'm not sure how much of that actually switches over.
Whose vehicles are getting replaced exactly?
I'm sorry.
Who are these new, got any idea who the new ones are gonna be allocated to? Who the new Tahoes would be allocated to?
Yeah, they're going to go to patrol. I don't know if actually specific deputy they're going to yet.
Okay,
But they'll all go on patrol.
okay. Did you just say you had 25 officers on patrol?
Correct.
And if I'm counting this right, there's 25 already patrol dedicated?
Yes. There should be.
So, well, the ones that are showing to be auctioned for the Tahoes and the Crown Vic aren't showing. What I'm saying is you already have 25 patrol Tahoes. So where would are you gonna rotate 5 out of patrol into something else?
I'm not sure.
You don't know?
That's Lieutenant Gears. I know in the past, the newer vehicles go on patrol, and some of the older ones that we get go to CID and other services.
that's all we need to see is a rotation plan, how these things rotate in and out. Because I think that, a visual like that helps me a lot. See what I'm saying? Because if I'm looking at this, and we're asking for 5 more to patrol, and you've got 25 to patrol, then I just like to know how they get rotated out through there. That helps me in the justification.
Right, I see.
Sheriff, could we get something kind of like that from the lieutenant that's in charge of that? And that would help us a little
As soon
bit.
as Lieutenant Gear gets back, I think he'll be back Friday.
Okay,
I'll get him, put something together and get to you as soon as we can.
okay, thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay. So one, we'd like to get more information in regards to the signal vehicle things that, I'm sorry, I got a second. Okay. So. All right. Is that it? Anything else here?
That's it.
Okay. That's all I have. Very good.
I have a question. The radars, basically, I know we bought some last year. On these new cars, they're swapping over radars.
They're putting the new stalkers in them, yes.
Pardon?
Or they're putting new stalkers in them, in the new vehicles. They've been taking away the old radars and putting new stalkers in the newer vehicles.
Was that the ones that all on the customer?
Should be.
How old are the ones
Do what?
that, I say the ones that you're gonna replace, how old are they?
That I'm not sure of.
Okay. Very good. Questions? All right.
Thank you.